When it comes to getting rid of moldy, stale, funky air smells, there's one fundamental truth that you need to know. Spraying an air freshener or lighting a candle does not get rid of the problem. It might make the air smell better for a while, but it doesn't stop things from going right back to smelling yucky. Today we are going to talk about keeping the air fresh, and when an air freshener is the right answer, and what to do so that you can figure out what the underlying issue is so that you can fix the yucky smells. Hi, I'm Amy on A Lolly Life, and you are like a fresh spring breeze. In other words, you're wonderful. And I'm so glad that you're here with me today. You are in the right place. We're going to break down smells into 3 basic categories: funky, stale, and moldy. Let's start with moldy or musty smells. This is probably what Grandma's basement smells like. In order to get rid of a moldy, musty smell, you have to reduce the amount of moisture in the air or water in the air and or increase the amount of air circulation. The air in the basement doesn't get the same circulation as the air in, say, the foyer or the kitchen does. And the humid air down there doesn't have anywhere to really go. You would have to use a lot of air circulation to get that air moving through there. And most houses don't have that much air circulation to move all the humid air out of the basement. And so it's really easy for the air to get a musty, moldy smell, even if there's no leak in the basement. The best way to do that is with a dehumidifier. A dehumidifier removes moisture in the air, and it can do that in a large area. It also kind of moves the air around, so it does exactly what you need to do to get rid of a moldy, musty smell. If you have a basement, you need a dehumidifier. I have another video about dealing with musty smells under your kitchen or bathroom sink, and so for more information you can go and watch that. But for right now, I will just say damp rid. It's like a tiny dehumidifier. I have found that it works really, really well under the bathroom sink or under the kitchen sink or in a closet that maybe has a washer and dryer. I've even used it in a small sunroom, and I've had pretty good success with that. Another thing that poor air circulation can cause is stale air. That's a little different than the musty smell, but it comes from a similar issue: not enough air circulation. Stale air is simply air that just hasn't been moved around very much. A house can start to smell stale if nobody's been living there for a while. However, a house can also smell stale even if people are living there. We've noticed it occasionally in our house after a long cold winter or a really hot spell during the summer, because when the weather is really extreme outside, we are very careful about making sure that we open and close the door very quickly, and so there's not a lot of air circulation with the air outside, and so then the air in the house starts to smell stale. An air purifier works well for stale air smells and other odd air smells. One advantage of an air purifier is that not only does it circulate the air, but it removes mold spores and pollen and other things from the air and cleans the air. However, we do not have an air purifier. What we do is we like to take advantage of those days in the spring or the fall that are just really mild temperatures and the temperature just right, and we open doors and windows and we get a good breeze going through the house and make sure that there's lots of fresh air in the house and all the old air is sent on its way. Another thing you can do is use fans. I love ceiling fans. Despite what the home decorating shows say about how they aren't pretty, I have to argue that sometimes so much beauty comes from function that fashion ceases to matter. I would love to hear your opinion about ceiling fans. I know that sometimes people can have very strong opinions about lighting fixtures, so tell me what your thoughts are. Funky smells, probably it's coming from a fabric like clothes or bedding, or a fabric covered item like, say, a couch or a teddy bear. If you can wash the item in the laundry, obviously that's the way to go. But if it's coming from, say, the carpet or a couch because the dog sleeps on it, then you'd have to do something slightly different. I suggest in those cases that you use something like Nature's Miracle or Febreze. And while sometimes there are perfumes in them, this one has a perfume in it, this one does not have any perfume in it. It's different than an air freshener kind of spray or a candle or those kinds of things, because these things have things in them that actually break down the odor-causing enzymes. Also, I find this particularly helpful for bathrooms that have tile in them, because the grout in between the tile and you get pee on the floor, well, it collects that odor into the grout in the tile. And if you spray it when you clean it with something like this, then that helps break down and get rid of the smell. And so if you have a bad pee smell, then this is something that can help take care of that. On the packaging, it says to use it liberally, or a generous dose. Really get the area damp. Not sopping wet, but damp. These kinds of cleaners work when they come in contact with the bacteria and things that are causing the odor. And so in order for it to break down the odor-causing enzymes, it has to come in contact with the odor-causing enzymes, which means that if you just mist it in the air, well, it's probably not going to do very much good, because it has to like get sprayed on the smelly spot. That doesn't mean these things will miracle fix every scent, but they do make a difference. They do. If you're trying to remove really tough scents, like say making a smoking room into a non-smoking room without actually removing all the drywall and carpet and such, then I would suggest something like an ozone machine. They are serious business and do an excellent job removing smells. Before we go, let's dive into odors that collect in places like your refrigerator and your freezer. They make baking soda boxes especially for the purpose of cleaning the air and keeping it fresher. They have like this little thing. You can pull it off and see it has this so that the baking soda doesn't like fall out. And then that has one on the back also. I also use those little boxes in storage bins, especially ones that might be out in the garage, so it would be extra humid out there at certain parts of the year. A regular box of baking soda and a fancy smancy box of baking soda that is made with these little windows so that you can put it in your refrigerator or your freezer or other places to keep it smelling fresh. Another thing to keep in mind is you do not want to use any of the baking soda that you have used to clean the air in your refrigerator or freezer or other places for cooking. You use different baking soda for cooking. And the reason why is because if you were to use this after you've used it in the refrigerator, then it would cause your cookies or whatever else you're baking to taste weird, like freezer burn or whatever else it happens, the odors it happen to collect. Thanks for joining me as we learn about life skills here on A Lolly Life. I love you. Your talents and worth are seen. Even if it seems that they're hidden from the world, they are noticed. So keep being the best you that you can. Keep making improvements. And keep being okay even when all that you're capable of doing, because life is too hard, is dragging yourself through the day. Things will get better. Clean the sink out before you go to bed so that tomorrow will start a little bit easier. And I'll see you on the next episode of A Lolly Life.